expected to appear in court in Madrid tomorrow morning. Asher King, who has a brain tumour, was taken from hospital in Southampton on Thursday against medical advice. The 5-year-old and his family were found by officers in Malaga last night, and from there, Tom Burridge reports.
Asher, who is seriously ill with a brain tumour, was taken in an ambulance to Malaga's main children's hospital, where he's now being treated. His parents have been arrested by Spanish police. A Spanish police source told me they were arrested on suspicion of maltrato de un niño, which literally means maltreatment of a child. It's an allegation Asher's parents strongly deny. Before his arrest, Asher's father released this video on YouTube, insisting that they were taking good care of their son.
We were most disturbed today to find that his face is all over the internet and newspapers, and we've been labelled as kidnappers.
There's nothing to suggest Asher's parents broke the law when they removed their son from the hospital in Hampshire. There's been significant debate about the appropriateness of police involvement in the case. Today, Hampshire police defended their actions.
Medical experts were saying to us if he didn't get the care that he needed, there was a potential threat to his life. Faced with those circumstances, I make no apology for the police being as proactive as we possibly can to actually find Asher and ensure that he gets the help he needed.
Asher's father says they wanted to sell their property near Marbella to fund an expensive treatment for Asher, which is not available in the UK. But he says he was worried about how doctors might react at Southampton General Hospital after he asked questions about what was best for Asher's health.
If I actually asked anything or gave them any doubt I wasn't in full accord with them, they were just going to get a protection order, which meant in his deepest, darkest hour, I wouldn't be there to look after him.
When Tracy Laycock's son Morgan had a tumour in his face, they travelled to the United States for proton beam therapy.
My heart goes out to him. I understand totally where they're coming from, because you have to do everything within your power to make your child right. We would have sold everything that we owned to pay for treatment to have it done.
The complex and sensitive nature of Asher's story and that of his family means it's hard to predict what will happen next. But everyone shares one priority: the health of a young boy.
Our correspondent Ben Moore has been speaking exclusively to the grandmother of Asher King.
As a mum and as a grandma, how worried are you?
Very worried, extremely worried. I don't even know what's happening now. Is Asher being left there without his family?
So you don't know if mum and dad are with Asher at the moment?
No, they're not with him. He was taken to Spain, wasn't he, a Spanish hospital, without his mum and dad, because they were in prison or wherever it is they go. But they were arrested, weren't they? And Asher was taken to a hospital on his own, as far as I know.
When you look at the news reports and you see the police have said, you know, they'd make no apology for...
Very angry. Very, very angry. I think it's been taken too far. Much too far. Brett couldn't believe it, that Asher's pictures were all over the papers and everything. And they said he kidnapped them, kidnapped his own son. He's really upset.
Yeah, how does he feel?
Very, very upset, of course. And he's worried, of course he's worried sick about Asher, isn't he?
You know, we saw that YouTube video of him saying he felt he had to take Asher. Has it been that bad for the family?
It's been terrible for them. Dreadful. Nightmare, the mother, my daughter-in-law, she hasn't left the hospital since he went in. She's been there all that time. Don't know how she sounds it, really.
And what about the frustrations over his treatment?
Yes, yeah, very, very frustrated. Very frustrated. Seemed at one time he was making a little bit of progress, but no.
What about the police and you? Have they talked to you? Have the hospital been talking to you?
No, the police have talked to me. Yeah. Well, my flat's been searched. Been searched, yes. Policeman, in fact, he's just come back this morning to see me again, asking me to make a statement, and I won't. 2 policewomen and a policeman.
So
I'm
you really,
disgusted.
you think the police have really?
Gone over the top. Yes, I do. And then coming back this morning asking me to make a statement. I don't think so. I mean, I'm not blaming the actual policeman because you can't blame him because they're only doing their duty, what they're told to do, aren't they? So I'm not going to say that he was unpleasant or anything like that, but that's his job, I suppose.
Well, joining me via webcam is Dawn Fiddler, whose son has a brain tumour, and Dawn also runs the Super Josh charity, a charity named after your son, because, I mean, just reading your website over the last few moments, he clearly is a super boy, isn't he? He's gone through so much.
He absolutely is. His nickname's Super Josh, and he's a miracle.
What is also clear from the many articles you've written about your journey with Josh is that a lot of the progress that you've made has been down to Josh's determination, which is why he's called Super Josh, but also your determination as a parent. Is there anything that you're hearing relating to the story about Asher King that you can relate to? Is there anything that you think, yes, we've been there, we felt we weren't getting the right communication, getting the right help, and being led in the right way?
I can, speaking from our journey with Joshua, we have always had excellent support throughout the journey over the last 10 years. I can't fault any aspects of our NHS team and our consultant team and the community team that we now have now that we've left the hospital. What I can empathise with is Aisha's dad his drive to fix his son, no matter what it takes. I think that every single parent will do anything they can to make sure their child is either not in pain or is happy or can get the treatment or whatever it is that they would need to be the most peaceful or the ultimate fix if it is out there and it is available. I can understand that as a mum.
Yeah, and a lot of the comments on social media have been quite cruel about the parents, calling them kidnappers. Presumably you find that very unfair then?
I think if they're acting on their child's best interests, which, I've purposely limited how much I've looked at and read into about this. All I've done is looked at the top line. I have watched the video, and, but it looks to me like they love their child. They want to do the best thing for their child. I can't comment on, obviously, any advice that they have or haven't been given and whether, whatever the outcome of that would be if they stayed in this country, but their desire to fix their child and give them the best chance and to be with their family, which, the bit on the video where it talks about them not having access to the child, I think any parent would freak out slightly in any way when they were told that. They just want to do the best thing for their child. So as a mum, I can empathise with that.
I mean, it's not just the brain tumour, is it? It's the knock-on effects it has, particularly on a child, but anybody with a brain tumour that you end up coping with as a parent. Perhaps if you could just tell us a bit about Joshua's story, that would give us a better understanding of perhaps what Asher's parents are going through. Because he's 10 now, but he was diagnosed, luckily in the early stages when he was about 3, which was quite good, wasn't it? It was good that it was diagnosed early.
Well, it was critical that Josh was diagnosed early. We were lucky that he was diagnosed with brainstem tumour, and he had life-saving surgery within a week. So there was no time for chemo or any other treatment. And in a similar situation where they removed the majority, or we thought the majority of the tumour, and Josh was then left in a coma state. And then he slowly started to come out of that after several weeks. And then his tumour regrew. Now, we're lucky in the fact that it was a very new drug, a chemo drug that was kind of just new to the market. We didn't waste time about trialling it, we just went straight in, and to this day, there have been changes with Josh's tumour, but it has frozen it. Sadly now, he's too poorly to have chemo or radiotherapy if he needed it, but luckily, to this point, we haven't had to. Josh was left with complex neuromuscular disabilities, which means he's absolutely sound of mind. He's a cheeky, loving, very, very flirty 14-year-old, and he loves learning. Just been at Lancashire Spinners basketball today, and he's been learning all about basketball. He's got some new mates. But sadly, through the post-surgery disabilities, he's been left with a chronic lung condition as he's grown, and Josh is now terminal. He can't have any form of surgery due to he can't survive the anaesthetic or any form of sedation, and also certain painkillers that he isn't able to have because they suppress his chest. We've been told many times since Christmas that Josh has got 24 hours to live. We made the decision after many, many conversations to actually take Josh out of hospital because, and this was based on a decision with the doctors and a wide range of people within Josh's team, social care, everybody, that there was no evidence that the medical side was actually working for Josh anymore, and the doctors agreed that there wasn't anything they could actually do from a fixed point of view. So we made that decision to come home. We didn't know how long, we still don't know how long we've got, so we're living off bonus time, bearing in mind that at Christmas was the initial time we left the intensive care to go to a hospice. And in true Josh style, he perked up and came home on New Year's Day, which was an amazing start to this year. So we just live every single day. We live in a world where Josh has got countless parties and events to go through his charity, which is the Joshua Wilson Brain Tumour Charity, which we've launched as a legacy for Josh, so that Josh can help other children who've got brain tumours and post-surgery disabilities and along his journey. And to be honest, I think that's given myself, the whole family, the drive, and it's given us, that's what's keeping us going.
Dawn,
Josh's smile
really,
and
yeah, I mean, I'm trying to take in everything you've just said. I mean, it sounds like an horrific, heartbreaking journey that you've all been on, and we're really sorry to hear the diagnosis that it's ended with, but it's quite clear that the charity, the public support of the NH staff have got you through this, and probably Josh himself as well.
Absolutely. You can't be sad when you see Josh's smile, and he's got a massive following around the world, and everyone is constantly saying, his smile, it just makes their day. He's just an inspiration. He is my drive. He's everything to us all, and we're just so proud of him. And I just hope that whatever happens to his family, that they do get the support and the love and time to be a family that they need and they deserve.
That all sounds so crucially important, that kind of support, and it's perhaps the support they haven't quite got. They've clearly come together as a family, but they haven't quite got the support that they need, and it's clearly got you and your family and your son through this horrific ordeal so far.
Yeah, absolutely. And I remember at the beginning, you're put into a bubble where the rest of the world does not exist. For example, Josh has got a gastrostomy and has peg feeds just like Aisha does. And the only thing that's really struck me and made me a little bit cross, that from a personal point of view, apart from the whole situation, obviously, is that the press picks up on the fact that, the pump's going to run out, there's no batteries, and people have been talking about that. Now, we've chosen, just from a parental point of view, to peg feed Josh but bolusously, which means we just hold a syringe up and we do it ourselves, because that's what we found.
We've unfortunately lost the link there with Dawn, but what a remarkable parent and
big respect from me, Dawn,
well,
too. Lots of love.
through what
Bye.
have